Still stop at 9 o'clock. Right? Stop at 9. Okay, it's good to see everyone. It's good to see this growing. It's good to see everyone here tonight. Okay? For the benefit of those who haven't been here before, I will cover some of the old information. If you have questions, give me a few minutes. I will go back over a number of things to try to answer those questions. Okay, but we're going to move forward tonight. Let me ask you, is it helpful that Jack and I have this type of working arrangement so you're getting the physical, you're getting the energetic?
Yes.
Yes, I would think it would be very helpful right now. I want to get you really excited so that you take this information and you start jumping in and you start being successful with this. All right, so let's go to what we're doing tonight. All right, look at the top. What's the purpose of the class?
Liberty and independence.
Okay, for those of you who don't know the difference between liberty and freedom, look it up so you remember it. Okay, please. Okay, purpose of the class. Yes, it's this, also a lot more. I want to make sure that no matter what you do in this world, no matter where you go, no matter where you are and the environment you find yourself in, that you will always know the answers to your questions. I don't care what the environment's doing. I don't care what the interpretation is in terms of what the environment's doing. You should always be able to know what you need to do in terms of your health, your wealth, and your relationships. And you should be able to answer those questions 100% of the time if we can get ourselves out of the way. That's the purpose of the class, is to have us learn how to get out of the way because God's already there trying to help us. Am I clear about the purpose of the class? And I'm never going to change on that purpose. Right? All right. Now we've used a test to give us an evaluation of how well we're doing in terms of allowing God to help us. We did the test in terms of making predictions. Okay, now the predictions are what we're looking at under the test. We took a stock. Okay? We looked at the stock at a certain time. And we got a certain value for the stock at that time. Then we went ahead to whatever time period we were looking at, and we began to determine then, at that particular time, which is always 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's a little bit later than the closing of the stock market in New York City, just a little bit later, and we went into reasons about that before. It doesn't matter what the date is. It doesn't matter whether you're choosing a time 1 minute before the close, 1 week, 1 month, years. It's not going to matter when you choose the beginning, to look at the beginning stock, and when you choose to close it. It doesn't matter in terms of what we're doing. Now, some people have made comments here saying that that's impossible. How in the world can you look at a stock at a specific time and a specific value and go forward in time, knowing we're going to stop at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, but it could be any date? How can you possibly do that and be correct?
I mean, in theory, if your spirit's helping you, your spirit's outside the time frame.
Right.
So the spirit can see at any time what it's going to be, so if you're connecting, they'll tell you where it's going to be.
Right. That's pretty much correct. If this really is God, God knows everything. And God's not going to be worried about some butterfly crossing the road in Australia, okay? Or a tidal wave that's going to hit someplace, or someone somehow making some money in the market or somehow manipulating the market. God's not going to be concerned about that. We are asking a specific question in our statement. We are saying, show me. Show me, because remember, we were making very specific statements when we were doing this work. And we'll go into that next week, but we were saying statements about, show me, what is the value of the stock in terms of will it be higher or lower at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from the value that we started with. Okay? We made a general statement like that. Okay? Now, according to our spirit, which is about an inch below the navel, that should give us the answer. That should give us the answer all the time. Make sense? Because anything in between, and we don't care what it is that's in between. We don't care anything about what's in between. That's not what we're putting in our statement. We're only saying in our statement, from the value that I have at this particular time, show me what it's going to be at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on that specific date. That's all we need to know. It is that simple.
Is it correct that all time is here now?
I'm sorry.
Is it correct when you say all time is here now?
You mean like all time is ever going to exist?
Well, all time is here now, so it doesn't matter if it's back or forward.
Oh, it certainly doesn't matter about the back, because that's already happened. So that's a given. As to what's going to happen into the future, when we make our statement and go to Spirit, and Spirit tells us what's going to happen, when it tells us this, we have now selected an answer according to all the possible answers. And everyone who is looking at that stock, and is looking at that stock over the same period of time that you would be, same period of time, they should get exactly the same answers. Exactly.
Thanks.
Yeah. Am I being clear then about this? I mean, do you realize how profound this is? Do you realize why I said that going into the future, the way we're talking about this, is our bank? That is our bank. That's the only bank that I would trust. Okay. Now, you might ask, what are the reasons for failure? Because I've had more than my share of failure doing this. Okay? If you go to the left side of the sheet, we've said from earlier classes, we've said that everyone on the face of this earth can be divided into one of two groups. Everyone. From the time we were born, every one of us chose a certain way to look at the world. We either chose to look at the world through fear, or we chose through anger and frustration. It's one or the other. It's never both. It may seem like that, but it's never both. I chose fear. Why do you think I created these mechanisms so I could look ahead into time? I want to know what's going to happen. Okay? I don't like surprises, except on Christmas. Okay? Other than that, I want to know what's going on. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's not like one's worse or better than another. We have to understand, what did we choose, and how is this working to self-sabotage us? This is a very important series of questions. Yes?
Can I ask you, how do we determine which one did we choose?
Well, we'll go through that maybe in another class.
Okay.
But we can muscle test for that.
Ah, okay.
Okay. But you chose fear.
Just kind of knew that.
Just makes it easy. You chose fear. That's right. That's right. No problem. Now, another way of saying this is lack of acceptance under anger and frustration, or lack of forgiveness under fear. Another way of saying the same thing. Okay? So I don't care how you phrase it. Make it as nice as you want. Okay? I don't care. But it's one or the other. It's either anger, frustration, or fear. And we all have it. Every one of us has it. And I guarantee you, if you start doing this work and you start getting serious about this, that nasty little thing, one of those others that's living in our brain or heart area, that's living in here, because this is where those stories are. Those anger stories, those fear stories exist here. Okay? And they're the ones that are going to tell you that when you start doing this work, it's impossible for you to do it. You can't do it. You don't deserve this. You know what I'm trying to say. We all have it. We all have it. Now, if that doesn't try to stop you, then your physical health is going to try to stop you. The lack of energy, vitality, okay? Physical well-being. We'll go into some of that next week about how to overcome that. But we must get going with in terms of our energy. It's very important that you start training like Olympic athletes. I mean this literally. That's how important this is. It is that important. Okay? Take none of this lightly. Okay? So, I guarantee you, it's going to be one or both of those two areas that's going to stop you, or try to. I've been through this now for 3.5 years. First 3 years was trying to break through all of these things, even though I've been working on all this for 17 years prior to that. I'm giving you this information now so that you're not going to be spending 17 years or 3.5 years. You'll be able to know what I've learned so we can get through this quickly and move on. Okay? That's why I'm giving this information to you. Now let's go to the good things. Reasons for success. Okay? You're giving permission to yourself. You're allowing yourself to achieve the things that you want. Remember, we've always talked about this. It's very important to start with permission. And also that I allow myself to have the success that I want. It's an agreement. I would say it orally, and I would do everything I could in the techniques I've been showing you to allow it to function through your body. Okay? And then motivated to succeed. I can't tell you how often I've been wrong doing this, but it stimulated me to go further. to look at it again and again and again and again to try and figure out why. I want to know why. It's very easy to get it right. If you get it right, it doesn't really mean anything. When you get it wrong, that's what you're going to find yourself. You're going to really find what you're made of when you get it wrong. Because if you're dealing with fear or anger and frustration, you're getting it wrong, what do you think either one of those two items is going to try to do to you if you're getting it wrong?
Give up.
Give up. Yeah, you can't do it. And then you'll be self-critical or self-judgmental, or who knows what you'll do. Okay, but I guarantee you, you want to get it wrong and see what you're made of. Go back, take a look at it. There's always a reason. There's always a reason that you got it wrong. Maybe I wasn't sleeping well. Maybe I didn't eat well. Maybe I wasn't scanning from here. Maybe I was scanning from either brain or heart area. There's always something. Maybe I didn't put myself into the energetic protective sphere. Okay? There's always a reason. But you cannot let it stop you. You must take the time to evaluate it. Okay? Okay, and now we're going to go into the prosperity chart. There's another reason for success. Here's our chart, right here, prosperity chart. It's very simple. Money, health, we call that wealth, of course, health, and then relationships, right in here. Now, this stems from the divine. We've said this, we've said it, we've said it, we've said it. This always begins with whatever we call God. God's in the center. Now, as long as we keep God in the center of this, and we always work from this area, and down here in this area, and we ask our questions from down here, and we're getting this information from down here, then whatever it tells us to do, we better do it. And you better do it, and do it quickly. Because if it keeps telling you and keeps telling you, and you stop or reject it, guess what? It doesn't talk to you very much. Okay? And if it ever decides not to say much to you, it's not its fault. It's our fault. Somehow, we're stopping it up here. Because I can tell you, that spirit is a chatterbox. I mean, it is always telling me something. I may not like it, but it's always telling me something. Okay? So, we're going to go into that prosperity circle, and it's amazing to see how little of that circle we really have accepted. I'll show you in just a moment. Okay? And then we're going to incorporate this prosperity circle, we're going to incorporate the prosperity circle into the work that we've been doing to predict the stock price. We're going to incorporate that. Okay? But before we do that, and I go any further, let's go back to this. Okay? So what we're going to do now, we're going to take a few minutes and start with, let's go back to the work we've been doing for the last several weeks. Okay? Now, for everyone that's been here, we know what to do. For those of you who haven't, what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that we're going to put ourselves into a protective sphere. It's roughly about 2 feet beyond our body. Okay? We're going to put ourselves into that sphere, and we're going to say at least 3 times. We're going to command the dark forces and demons leave that sphere. Okay? And we're going to allow, after we've done that, the energies of God, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, angels, anyone else, angelic, through the body, through the earth, all the way back through heaven in a cyclical process. Okay, we're going to do that. Let's take a few minutes and do that right now. So first, with the sphere around you, then clear. Okay? I'm going to do a little test. After you've cleared, then allow the energy to go through. Let it go all the way through. Let it go through with gratitude, the energy of gratitude. And we're not going to worry about whether or not there are issues about acceptance or forgiveness, but we're going to allow both to go through with gratitude. So let that all go through. Okay, now I'm going to interrupt you for just a moment, so if you'll open your eyes and stare towards me for a moment here. Okay, what we're going to do next, in a few minutes, we're going to go back to this gratitude circle, this prosperity circle, and go back into this, and I'm going to do a little test. We're going to test to see how much of this prosperity circle you have accepted. 100% would be everything on this list. To 100% capable of what God gave you when you were born. Okay, that's 100% of everything that's here. Now, what I'm going to do is you're going to go back into this meditative state in just a moment. At the right point, I'll ask you to open your eyes, and I'm going to start with this little device here. This is fun. And we're going to open it slowly, and do you see the words? Now, what's going to happen to you is that as you're looking at me, and as you're looking at this circle, and you're giving yourself permission to send this energy through, you're going to be looking at the opening of this, and at some point in the opening of this, you're going to feel some type of gnawing figure in your spirit center. Something's going to happen down here. You're going to feel it. It's going to be at the level of resistance. It may be about 20%, 40%, maybe I can open it all the way and you have 100% tolerance. You've allowed 100% of all of this to go through your body. Now, I wasn't able to do 100%. I could get to maybe 80%. At 80%, when I opened this up on myself, and I looked at it and I got to 80%, I could feel resistance beginning to form in my spirit. Now, that's not my spirit. That's me attempting to resist what I was born to have in this circle. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So now, if you're resisting this prosperity, and you're going into the stock market, and you're looking at your stocks, and you're going to make predictions, and you're only accepting 40% of your prosperity, what do you think your accuracy level is going to be? Maybe. At the most, maybe 40%. At the most. Okay? Do you see where I'm going with this? Okay. Now, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about the stock market, or we're talking about your health or relationships. It's not going to matter. It's all the same thing. So are we clear what I'm asking you to do? What I'll ask you to do is I'll ask you to raise your hand when I'm opening this. I'll do it slowly. But when you can feel the resistance in that gut area, you can feel it or sense it, raise your hand because I'm curious to see how accurate that you are. Okay? So I'll look and I'll see. Okay? Do you understand? Just raise your hand. Okay. Yeah, let's put the hand down, right? Okay. No one's going to raise their hands. Everyone's going to get ready. What I'll do then, for the rest of the day, I'll just keep doing this. And you'll just go wild on me. And you'll run out of here. So you can't hide. You can't hide it. Okay? So, shall we? All right, let's do it. All right. So, why don't you close your eyes? Let's go back into that protective sphere. Let the energy go through the body. Okay, let it go through. Go back into gratitude. Go back into acceptance and forgiveness. The gratitude of acceptance and forgiveness. So we're going to allow ourselves to accept others and ourselves, forgive others and ourselves. Okay, whatever that means to you. And keep letting it go through, all the way through the earth, back through heaven, through you. Keep it going. You're doing well. Okay. All right, why don't you open your eyes Stay, let that energy move through. And as the energy is moving through, imagine you're seeing yourself, not me, but yourself, holding on to this little block, this cardboard block I have. And imagine that you are opening this cardboard block in front of your eyes, but look in my direction. Okay? You ready? Keep the energy moving. Okay? Give yourself permission to sense in your spirit center where you begin to resist this. You ready? Here we go. Oh, I can feel it. There you go. There you go. Good. Keep going. You're doing great. Good. Keep going. Oh, fantastic. You guys are right on. Right on the money. Good job. Excellent. Excellent. You're right on target. Good. Keep the energy moving through. Keep it moving through. There we go. Good job. Okay. Everyone who raised their hand was very accurate. Was very accurate. Very accurate. I'm going to do it again because I want to give you some practice with this. This is extremely important. Very proud of you. You did very well. You did very well. Shall we do it again? Keep the energy moving. Just keep it moving. Okay? Never let it break, no matter what. Keep it moving through. Okay? Let's go back into allowing the energy to move through your body. Just let it go through. That's it. Give yourself permission to see the truth. Sense this energy any way you can. Give yourself permission to sense it any way you can. And sense what we're going to do with this cardboard block here. And keep it going. Just keep it going. That's it. Keep it. That's good. Keep it going. Okay, let's do it again. Look towards me, but remember, you're doing this in your sphere. Here we go. You ready? Keep the energy moving. And again, raise your hands. Good. Very good. You guys are right on to it. Very good. Excellent. Good job. Excellent. Excellent. Good, good, good. Good. Very good. Excellent. Everyone's real right on it. Everyone's very accurate. Yeah. Good. Good. Okay. You're right on. Good job. Very good. What did you sense? What did you sense when you raised your hand? What was it that you sensed?
It seems like a tightening right here.
Very good. Very good.
I feel loud, rapid pulsating, and it starts to rise.
Very good. Very good. Anyone else?
More of a ceiling.
Excellent. Very good. Excellent. Anyone else? Yes.
It was like a little vibration.
Right. That's right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Anyone else? Yeah, I had a sickening feeling in my stomach when I realized that I could only accept maybe 80%. Okay. Now, think about this. What I've been doing since then is I've been doing this with a block like this that I made up, just like this, and I keep it open as I do my meditation. I keep it open completely.
You asked me to bring, actually I wanted you that I was going to bring this.
Very good.
So
Very good.
I did.
Would you mind? Would you mind?
I'll explain it, but if
Please.
you want to pass this around.
Please, let's do that.
Basically, when I was here earlier this week with my mom, and Dr. Berman was speaking with us about this, and basically, it reminded me of a prayer. It's actually a psalm that's done. We're Jewish, and it's done 3 times a day for those that are observant in our religion. And it's Psalm 145. and there is one statement within it that basically says, you open your hand and you satisfy every living thing with its desire. And in our tradition, which is the Sephardic tradition, we have the custom of actually taking our hands when we're saying that and basically going like this.
Right.
And as we're doing that, you actually feel that flow of energy.
Because if you do that with your hands, guess what you can hold?
That's right.
100% of the prosperity.
So I mentioned that to Dr. Berman, and he told me if I would mind sharing it, and I said I'll be happy to bring copies. So
Thank you.
I brought copies in English, and I also did a little schematic of the little prosperity circle on it.
Very good.
And those that wish to see it in Hebrew, I have a copy in Hebrew. Pardon me?
My Hebrew is more than words.
I'll read it with you.
Oh, okay, cool. Bring it tomorrow. We'll read it.
So, let me ask you a question. This is very, very important.
You didn't get one
A
yet?
few days ago, the reason why this all started was because I was realizing something. I was looking at the prosperity circle, and I was realizing that as a child, I was taught to pray like this. Look familiar? Okay. Even as an adult, I was taught to pray like this. Okay? Look how hard it is to hold on to prosperity when I pray like this. I realized that, again, this is one of the stories, one of the lies that I accepted in my brain and heart, that I am begging God to help me. God's not listening to our begging, because God has already given us everything we're ever going to have. He's given us all the wealth, all the health, and all the perfect relationships we wanted when we were conceived. From that point on, it's already there right in here. It's already there. I realized that I was holding God back because I was thinking this way versus this way. And when Ruthie and I were talking about it, she came up with a brilliant idea about this information, about some of the other things we've been discussing. So all of these ideas are very, very important to understand. You, every one of you, and every person on the face of this earth has a God-given right to have whatever health, wealth, and relationships that you want, as long as you know it's coming from Spirit. As long as you know it's ethical, moral, and legally correct, then there's no limit as to how much that is. I have never, ever seen God tell me, Gary, I couldn't have this, this, or this as long as it came from here. And I've never found a person yet who was designed to live under a bridge or out of a box. Never. Or beg on the street. I have never found a person's spirit to tell me that that person was condemned by God and their spirit to do that. I have never found that. And I've looked, especially from my background, I've looked. So anything to do with limitations in any of these areas are not coming from the divine. They're not. They're coming from these old stories that we have created. Okay? So I've got an idea about this, about what we can do. Let's go back to what we were doing here before. Okay, let's do this. All right. Let's go to the next page of the handout. Okay. What I was proposing that we did before was that we would always start with that protective sphere. We always start with that. That's a given. Then after we've done that and cleared out the sphere, we're allowing spiritual energy, like we said. God, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, angels, anyone else, I don't care. Letting that energy come through, just as we said here, that it's coming through in this way. Okay? Then, once we've given ourselves, say, 10, 15, 20 minutes at the most of doing this, then you might look at the test that you did with your stocks and then make your prediction. Is it going to be higher or lower, based upon now this meditative state? Okay. Now, I know this works well, because I do it all the time. But I think now we can add a little bit more to it that will help a lot. This. We're going to add this to it. Okay. Now, the moment The moment I open this all the way, yes, I feel some resistance. That's true. You'll feel the same thing. But I'm also excited to know that there is so much more inside me yet to realize. I get excited when I open this up. So now, as I'm doing this technique for about 10, 20 minutes, now when I open this up and I imagine that I'm sending this into this energetic field, just like that, I'm sending it in, now my energy and my accuracy increases. In the past, I've spoken to you about if you're tired, if you're uncertain about things, if you're not feeling well, anything like that, if you try to scan, no matter how well you try this technique, it may or may not work. Now, when I incorporate this into this energetic field, completely wide open, it's amazing, even though I may not feel well, I'm still getting the right answers. As long as I'm scanning from my spirit. It activates, opening this up all the way, activates the spirit center very strongly. Now, I've also found that it could activate the heart or the brain equally so. And if we're not careful, we're going to be making our choices from here or there. And guess what? That'll be exactly the wrong answer, opposite. So you'll feel a great deal more energy. You'll feel a great deal more energy here because you're going to focus here. Now, how do we know? We're going to run through it. Yeah, we're going to run through it tonight. Okay? Do you understand what we're going to do? Is it clear? Yes.
Okay, so I have a question that might be a little subtle here. Okay, so when we're doing the scan and we're asking ourselves which of the energy levels or centers is brighter or darker, could this be used to brighten it as opposed to utilizing it to make a prediction from that spot?
It could.
Okay.
As we do more and more of this, balancing all three areas will naturally come about if we do it for at least 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
Naturally come about.
So you don't have to focus so much on which one's darker anymore. You just
Exactly.
go ahead and do it for
Okay.
a certain period of time?
Good question. Okay, let me go back to one thing. In the past, when we started this class weeks ago, we were very specific about whether or not it was the brain, heart, or spirit that needed help. Remember we talked about this,
Right.
for those of you who've taken this class earlier. Now what I'm saying is, if we're doing what we're proposing, about letting this energy come through for 10, no more than 15 minutes, all three areas, from what I've seen so far with a lot of people, no more than 15 minutes, all three areas will be strong enough, naturally, so you don't have to worry about which one is the weakest. It'll save time. Okay? Also, in the past, we said, is it about a lack of acceptance or forgiveness? We talked about that again in the beginning classes. We're not going to be worried about that. We're going to send both of them through. This is like a homeopathic mixture that's going to go through, and what we need, it will accept. Let's keep it easy. Let's keep it easy. I want us to focus in on learning how to use this energy from here and forget about some steps that aren't necessary to be as specific about.
When we had been talking about how on the wheel we have different areas blocked.
Right.
You're saying this is going to clear, if we did the step of putting the total prosperity, there were other things that we were supposed to be doing to help those areas. We're not supposed to be doing that anymore?
Well, let me see if I can answer that question.
Like the dollar bill, for instance,
Right,
we were
right.
supposed to be doing that.
And I just didn't bring it today, but we can do that. That's certainly going to help. Okay? But if someone told me they had arthritis in their joints, say in their elbow, do they really have arthritis just in their elbow?
No.
No. You can't be sick in a small part of your body. You can't. So what we're really saying is that, yes, even though we all have issues about maybe certain specific quadrants, maybe it's a financial issue, maybe it's a health issue, I don't care. It's always about the entire thing. Because we can't have just a small piece of prosperity. We either have all of it or we have nothing, in my book. Because if we only have a fraction of it, you can't predict accurately whether or not you're going to get the right answers if you only have a fraction of it. And I don't want just a little bit of prosperity.
And I just wanna make sure that, so what you're saying is, if we go through our standard way of doing things, while having that symbol or sign of total prosperity, that will raise us towards the 100% level
Got
in
it.
all of those areas.
All of those areas.
Oh,
We'll
that's
do
a
it all
lot
at once.
easier.
Let's keep it simple.
Yeah.
Right, let's keep it simple.
When we're visualizing, it's like floating around.
Does it matter what color we make the sign? Colors doesn't matter, right?
Well, whatever activates you, Bart. I don't care, whatever colors activates you. Play with it, enjoy it. Because I want you to make sure that when you open that, you know that this is 100% of this. And get excited about that.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you mentioned 10 to 15 minutes, because I've had an issue where after I get to the 10 or 15 minutes, it's like I have this wall that I can't.
Right.
It seems like there's a resistance for me, and I have to just stop. So is that normal, or is that just me being having resistance? Okay.
Okay? We all have it. We all have it.
But for me, it's different. I just want to keep going. I feel so good that I was just, oh, this is heaven. I just want to be.
It will affect different people in different ways. That's good. That's very good. Yeah, please.
Can we just take a piece of paper, like printer paper, and put total at the top and put prosperity? And I mean, it's already open, it's already a flat piece of paper.
You could. But for some reason, it just works so much better this way. So much better. Because I'm thinking that, look what I've done to myself. I won't accept any prosperity. And I'm opening, and I'm going, wow, I'm getting more, and I'm getting more, and now I'm getting excited.
Right.
Right? Instead of it just starting this way, this doesn't really activate me. But when I see how I've shut myself down, and what really could happen if I could open this up, for me, that's psychology works. And it works well. Plus, I like high tech. I went to school a lot of years to do this. Anyone else?
Can I buy that?
Next week.
$49.95. I swear it won't let me sell it to you. No, this will let me sell it for $49.95. Okay. Anyone else? Make sense? Shall we do it?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, and I'm going to open it up slowly. I'm going to tease you.
I'm
I'm going to tease you. I'm going to keep it open, and then I want you to give yourself permission when I fully open. Give yourself permission to receive every part of this circle, and watch what happens to you. Watch what happens, and focus on the spirit area. Focus completely on that area. Okay, ready? Go into your sphere and protect the sphere. Okay. Go back through the gratitude. Okay. The acceptance and forgiveness. Good. Keep it going. Good. Keep it going. Perfect. Keep it going. Be very grateful that you're allowing yourself to change. It takes a lot of courage to do what you're doing. Good. Keep it going. Okay. Now, I'm going to begin opening up this board. Okay, so if you'll look in my direction, remember you're looking at yourselves, opening up your own boards. Okay, you ready? Now, when I open it up 100%, when I opened it up that way, give yourself permission to have 100% and watch what happens. Here we go. Turn it on. Give it permission. Feel the power? Feel the difference? Keep it going. Give yourself 100% permission to accept this. Be very grateful. Now, as you can feel the increase in that energy, now's the time to start asking questions, specific questions, and you'll get your answers very quickly. You'll know them very quickly. It'll take you right to the correct answer. Yes or no's will become very simple. Focus that energy in that spiritual center, because it wants to move up. It wants to move into the heart and into the brain. Do you feel that? Do you sense that it's trying to move up? Keep it down. Keep it focused down in that spirit center. Okay? Give yourself even more permission. Even more. For the first time in a long time, perhaps forever, you've given yourself permission to have it all. Keep giving yourself permission. Stay in gratitude. Good. Okay, now both sides of the rooms. Well, the room is very much even now, much more even. What are you sensing now? Now, you can talk and you can keep focusing this energy. So what are you feeling? What are you feeling?
I felt a lot more peace. Did I?
Good. Good. Keep the energy moving. Okay. Anyone else?
I feel very strong energy in my concentrated right in my hands.
Very good. Very good. Anyone else? Anyone else feeling anything? Anyone else?
My energy's right here.
Yeah. Keep it down. Keep it down. It's good. Can you feel the difference though? I mean, when I open this up? Yeah. Now, this may take time for some of you to sense this. It may take time. Okay? It's worth every bit of your effort to do this. Every bit of your effort. Go into your meditative state, just like we were showing. Just like we've been showing here. Practice this. For those of you who are new to this, practice this technique. Take 10, 15 minutes every day. If you can do it twice a day, so much the better. If you can spend as much time during the day in just this state as you're driving, walking, doing your business, whatever you're doing. And if you can just practice that energy going through. Okay, get good at that. When you get good